Right, thank you very much to all the previous speakers. I'll try and talk slowly and clearly. We need to talk Nelson Mandela's son, well to get through this. Okay. Right, there's some new material and there's some old material. And there's some stolen material, actually. Naturally, there's always a few nerves, as the youngster said before he's off, I sleep over. But to calm me, Mark has assured me if I do a good job today, he's going to let me be the best man at his next wedding as well. On behalf of the bridesmaids, Mark, thank you very much for your kind words and your gifts. I'm sure everyone will agree the bridesmaids have done a wonderful job today, and they've only been outshone by a simply gorgeous bride.
Yeah. Always a smooth on this one.
I actually thought we were pretty lucky with the weather today, considering 24 hours ago what it was like. So it was quite kind to us. It didn't snow. I know it was one of Kerry's, but he only said to me last week she didn't want so much as a flurry of snow on her wedding day. Although she did admit to me that 6 inches on the wedding night would be quite nice.
I don't get that.
Neither do I. It's not big, but it can fill a pram.
I'm sure we'll all agree. I'm sure everyone will agree that Kerry looks absolutely lovely, and I don't think there can be a single man in this room who doesn't think it's
Would want to
very
dress like that. Sorry. Yes, Gary. Wonderful.
I don't think there's a single man in this room who doesn't think it's a very sad day, as Kerry has now been taken off the shelf.
Correct.
Forever.
Beautiful bride.
And Mark, equally, I don't think there can be a single lady in this room who doesn't think that, well, just another day, really. Now, I was generally honoured to be asked to be best man today and give this speech. They do say the best man's speech is the worst 5 minutes of the groom's life, whereas the worst 5 minutes of the bride's life will come later on in the honeymoon suite. I do appreciate it's traditional as the best man to lash lyrical about all the ex-girlfriends the grooms had, but Mark did say he didn't want me to mention that, so finds me that's 3 seconds I'm going to have to fill with another anecdote. But to be serious for a second, there does come a time in a man's life when he finds that special someone. There's one true soulmate and companion. His destiny, if you like. The person who's going to know him and understand him and be by his side through thick and through thin for the rest of his life. And that moment came for Mark when he met me on a local clay pigeon shoot. Mark was just an instantly likeable chap, and I think actually on that day we definitely handled each other's weapons, didn't we?
We did, yeah.
We chatted flippantly about who to cope with the most troublesome birds. I think we were probably a bit even on that score. Interestingly, I also learned on that day that Mark was a keen member of the CPPS. For those of you who know, that's the Clay Pigeon Preservation Society. Keep up with me, keep up with me. Now, Mark and I weren't childhood friends, so I didn't have any stories from Mark and I's in our younger days. So I thought, I'll go on the internet and I'll Google his birthday and see if it coincides with any major world events. Unfortunately, nothing came up. Though I am reliably informed that within the maternity unit when Mark was born, his birthday is still known as Ugly Baby Day.
kept that from him, Mum.
You actually were a gorgeous baby.
Now don't interrupt the Bronx for talking. And it was actually on a similarly important day in Mark and Kerry's life, and I think it really does demonstrate what faith Mark has in me as a friend. Mark had commitments that meant he couldn't get away from the Warrington office, and he got me on the phone, and he was insistent that he wanted me to be with Kerry to support her and reassure her. And I remember the poor girl was obviously in some pain and discomfort, but dutifully there I was, down at the business end, and we helped ease the little chap out, and he was born into the world. And he really was the most beautiful little red bull calf I've ever. Lovely little bull calf. Somebody may not know, Mark and I really are a couple of amateur cowboys. Mark's got his red poles, and I've got my Highlands. And we've thrilled away many hours together, chatting, driving in the car. Really just talking a lot of bollocks, actually. Oh, sorry, bullets. Many other assets of Catholic reading. Now, I'm very grateful to Mark. He's introduced me to some great new concepts in my life. I'm a big rugby union fan, but Mark took me to my first rugby. Mark took me to my first rugby league match, and he told me, he said rugby league. I said, what's rugby union, rugby league? He said rugby league. It's a bit like running a marathon at pace while surviving about 30 or 40 small car crashes. He says, in fact, it's much more physically demanding than rugby union. He said, there are frequent substitutions, so the coach can pull you off at any time in the match.
That's why I like it.
Presumably that's instead of a bottle of water,
Half an hour.
Now, through Mark, I've also put an insight into the world of double glazing. Mark told me once that he fitted some glazing for a customer, and he billed him, and he hadn't seen payment for this bill. 2 years went by and he hadn't seen payment for this bill. So one day he was passing, he turned up at the chap's house, and he knocked on the door and he said, "Oh, I fitted your double glazing 2 years ago. I still haven't seen a penny." The chap said to Mark, "You bloody well told me after 2 years it'd pay for itself."
As old as the hills, that.
I love applause. Now, Mark's also introduced me to the concept of the Warrington man. Yeah, I've got to be careful, isn't it?
Don't upset him, mate.
Now, this is kind of hard to explain.
You know which car it is.
But this, for me, these stories sort of sums it up. There's a Warrington man who's walking along the street in downtown, and he spots a sign that said a pub, and the sign reads a pie, a pint, and a woman who will love you all night for just £10. And the Warrington man, his eyes light up, and he dashes into the pub, and he rushes up to the woman behind the bar, and he says to her, "Hello, what's in the pies?" Mark, I do have to say, you're up command. You're going to leave here today and gain a wife who's attractive, smart, and caring. And Kerry, you're very lucky too, because you're leaving here today with a bouquet of flowers and a new dress. Actually, I'm not going to talk about the bride's dress too much. It's a beautiful dress, but I'm not going to talk about it too much. It brings back some horrific memories, personally for me. On my own wedding day, in my groom speech, instead of the word dress, I complimented my mother-in-law on her efforts in making the bride's beautiful breasts.
True story.
That's absolutely true. It's on VHS if anyone wants to see. Mark, some men marry for love, some men marry for companionship. Personally, I needed a new toaster. But I'd just like to pass on some advice from someone who's been married a few years now. I mean, I've been married for... how long have you been married?
17 years.
17 years. Long. slump. There's a wee fairy story framework that kind of sums up marriage as I see it. Once upon a time, a guy asked a girl, "Will you marry me?" And the girl said, "No." And the guy lived happily ever after and rode on his tractor, played his fiddle, drank lots of ale, bottled whiskey, left the toilet seat up, farted whenever he wanted, and he had tons of money in the bank. However, once upon a time, a guy asked the girl, "Will you marry me?" And the girl said yes. And the outcome was pretty much the same, really. Apart from the money in the bank, but obviously. Now, I can't end without a brief mention of the stag night. For those of you who are not there, 11 brave men and true spent a long weekend in Dublin watching Ireland play Scotland in the Six Nations and contributing substantially to the coffers of Arthur J. Guinness. Although Mark did wear his kilt, his Irish kilt, on the stag weekend, as he's wearing the trousers tonight for the last time. But it's great to see some of the guys here this afternoon. Mr. Graham never wanted to start a punch-up in an Irish bar. Mr. Richard always wanted to start a punch-up in an Irish bar. Mr. Mark always wanted to finish a punch-up in an Irish bar. Mr. Dave, oblivious to a punch-up in an Irish bar. And Mr. Paul, better to Irish jig than have a punch-up in an Irish bar. And Mr. Matt Patson, no, sorry, the women and children you had. If anyone here wants to know what Matt Patson did in an Irish bar, you getting drunk and you ask him. Now, actually, I've checked with the Irish Earthquake Information Centre, and they assure me that there was no seismic activity on the first night that Mark and I shared a room together in Dublin. So I can only conclude that Mark must have had the occasional wee snort himself. Kerry, I've got something for you. Rather than pass it down, I'll open it. You can take these away. I think they'll come in handy for you.
Don't talk him asleep.
Well, I'm not going to keep you any longer. I know Mark is dying to buy everyone a drink at the bar. It really does just room for me to say what an honour it is today to be standing here as best man and to see Mark and Kerry tie the knot. I have to say, if the commitment and the strong partnership they have in business together is any indication, then there's absolutely no doubt that this marriage is going to be rock solid through thick and through thin. It gives me immense pleasure to invite you to stand and raise your glasses in a toast to Mr. and Mrs. Cosgrove. Wishing every happiness in the future. Ladies and gentlemen, Mark and Kerry.
Cheers.
Kerry.
Just one final point. If anyone needs a taxi tonight, have telephone numbers at reception and they'll sort that out for you. Thanks very much.